And we are back with another Pursuit of Utility podcast. Now, I just did a podcast just the other day, but I actually ran into some issues with the video. For whatever reason, the video was not recording consistently. So wanted to get back behind the camera to, one, test out a different setup, but also to piggyback off of an idea that I had in the last one. The last one was basically a couple ideas, or at least kind of like cornerstones of areas that I would be thinking about for coming into 2025. Today is January 1st, 2025. So I thought it would be interesting to take one of the key topics that I mentioned in the last episode, which is AI, and try to use that to help create a New Year's resolution. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be recording my screen. I'm going to be using ChatGPT, their model 4.0, and I'm just going to prompt it, right, to try to help me create a New Year's resolution. Now, this really serves twofold. One, for the audience that is not as familiar with ChatGPT, I'll just go through and just kind of show you how important the prompting is, how important the questions are that you ask in order to create meaningful responses, right? How important that is. And then also to try to incorporate some of the ideas that I brought up last time, and then just see, what it comes up with, right? So that as our prompts improve, as we work with it to try to give it more information, see what it comes up with, and see how that might, one, help you come up with a New Year's resolution, but more than just a New Year's resolution, how might you start to use the tool like this in your work, in your everyday life, right? So if you're just listening to this, I would encourage you to go jump over and watch the YouTube video where I will actually have a split screen and show my screen and some of the prompts, but I'll also narrate. So I will talk through what it's saying, what I'm typing in, just so you have an understanding of, what's going on if you're not in front of a screen. So the first thing we're going to do, right, obviously navigate over to ChatGPT. I already got an account, but we'll just ask it, create a New Year's resolution, right, and see what it says. Create a New Year's resolution for me. See what it says. So it came up with one, right? It basically is just walking through what it's going to be doing. Here's a New Year's resolution tailored to your interests and activities. I will focus on building habits that amplify momentum in my personal and professional life. This means showing up consistently for my creative projects like my YouTube videos with fresh insights and energy. I'll explore deeper connections with my community on LinkedIn by experimenting with bold new content strategies in my downtime. I'll refine my sports betting skills, not just for wins, but to make smarter, more disciplined plays. And most importantly, I'll embrace change because growth lives where comfort ends. So the interesting thing is this is a brand new conversation that I started. However, I've used ChatGPT before and I'm logged into my account. So it knows that that I've asked questions about sports betting before, and it remembered, which is pretty cool. It also knows that content is really important to me. It knows that YouTube videos are something that I work on. I use ChatGPT a lot to help me write descriptions or create tags for YouTube videos. So all of that is pretty cool. So again, just another reason that you should consider using a tool like this, because it's got a memory, which is a little bit creepy, but also pretty cool if it's used in the right way. So that's what it came up with. Now, what if we were to try to get to a point where we can give it information, we can give it inputs, and maybe it will cater its output to be more succinct with what we're looking for. So what if we asked it, what prompt should I use to maximize their ability to cater a New Year's resolution for me? Let's see what it says. So basically what I'm telling it is, what should I tell you, right? or what information should I answer, right? What should I provide? So what it actually comes up with is it gives me a prompt that I could use. So it says, help me create a New Year's resolution that aligns with my interests in, and then it has brackets for me to put the interest that I have in, right? My goals for, and then it has short-term goals. And then my personality traits like reflective, action-oriented, humorous. It should feel achievable, but also challenge me to grow in meaningful ways. So let's just copy this. And if we come in here and say, grow in my interests, and this is the tough part for me, obviously, because my interests are so broad. Interest in, let's say, content creation and marketing and technology. My goals for growth in 2025, and my personality traits like humor, sarcasm, agency. I don't even know if I can put agency in there. We'll see. It should feel achievable, but also challenge me to grow in meaningful. Let's just see what it says. So basically what I did, I took the prompt it gave me, I plugged in the things that I'm interested in, and we'll see what it comes back with. So this year I will level up my content creation game by blending humor, sarcasm, and cutting edge tech into marketing strategies that not only capture attention, but create genuine impact. I'll push myself to explore emerging technologies, whether that's AI, AR, or the next big thing, to stay ahead of trends and turn curiosity into innovation. I'll also double down on fostering agency, whether by delegating effectively, refining my personal brand, or creating space for the projects that matter most. And because no resolution is complete without a close of wit, I'll do it all while cracking jokes that make people think, laugh, and click follow. So I think that that's pretty cheeky. Obviously, it's heavily focused around content creation. What if we asked it, what are the top New Year's resolutions for 2025? Let's see what it says. Saving more money, exercising more, eating healthier, losing weight, reducing debt, spending more time with family and friends, improving mental health, learning new skills, quitting smoking. Who even smokes anymore? Traveling more. This is from a couple different articles that it has reference here. Gen Z want to put themselves first in 2025, while millennials hope to spend more time with friends and family. Will New Year's Eve be loud or quiet? What are the top 2025 resolutions? The number one New Year's resolution isn't losing weight or exercising. It's this financial goal, survey says. So the cool thing about something like this is if you did need to brainstorm, right, and you're not sure what other people are doing, you can put in, tell me what the top New Year's resolutions are for 2025. What are some of the top resolutions for 40-year-old men with 3 kids? 40-year-old married men. Let's see what it says. Prioritize health. Number 1. Strengthen family bonds, financial planning, improve work-life balance. So let's just go through a couple of those. So now that is very specific to my demographic, right? I am 40 years old. I am married. I have 3 kids. Now I left out some of the details about, the farm or work or my personal goals. So this is a little bit more generic, but let's see what it says under prioritize health, because I think this is interesting. Commit to regular exercise, even if it's a family activity like hiking or biking. Focus on eating healthier as a family, reducing processed foods and planning meals. Schedule annual health checkups and encourage the family to do the same. So this is something that I mentioned in my last episode where I talked about health. I talked about that article that we read. What was it called? The Great American Poisoning. And a lot of these things ring true. Strengthen family bonds, dedicate one-on-one time with each child to foster strong relationships, plan a monthly date night with your spouse to keep relationship thriving, establish a new family tradition like game nights, movie nights, or weekend outings. So that's interesting. I hadn't thought about that one. We spend quite a bit of time together as a family. It would be cool if I could get on some type of cadence with Aiden, our oldest son, because he doesn't live here anymore and he works a full-time job. So obviously we don't spend as much time with him as we do with Carter or Beckett because they live with us. So that could be really interesting. I do like the idea of establishing family traditions, like a new family tradition. I think that could be very interesting. We try to have movie nights. We don't do a ton of game nights. And we try to really leverage some of the basketball tournaments for weekend outings. But I think that is interesting because I know, like with my brothers and my sister, obviously we spend a lot more time together over the holidays, but how might we, come up with a monthly dinner? Maybe we rotate houses, right? Maybe we do, our house and then my sister's house and my brother can come in town, or something like that. I do like that idea. I hadn't really thought about that one. Financial planning, reassess savings and investments to align with long-term family goals, create or stick to a family budget, focusing on reducing unnecessary expenses, teach kids the basics of saving and money management. I think that this is very interesting, especially for us where we are heavily invested in the property. We're heavily invested in the nonprofit, Valentin Family Farm. So to just reassess what that looks like, see how much money we've been spending on the nonprofit. We really need to spend some time figuring out how exactly we handle the finances there. We focused more so on the doing of the work versus the financial strategy behind it. It was more just do what we can do and, we'll figure it out later. So I think that that's a good one. Improve work-life balance, set clear boundaries between work and home life, leave work at a reasonable hour to have more quality time with family, explore hobbies or activities that bring personal fulfillment without compromising family time. I think for this one, it's very interesting because when you work at a small business, I think your work-life balance always is in flux. A lot of it is because you don't have hard lines between roles. People share responsibility. So you have, responsibility over, like for me, technology and marketing. So even if I take time off, it doesn't mean I can be totally off because if something happens, I would still need to be called in. I did take the last 2 weeks off and I feel like I did a lot better job of preparing for that. So when I was off, I was able to disconnect more. I think that scheduling more time off throughout the year, even if it's just a 3-day weekend, even if I use that to do projects around the house or around the farm, I think that is definitely something that I should try to do more of. In terms of balance, I feel like I do a pretty good job here. If I need to flex out my time or work on a weekend so I can, leave early to go to a basketball game or what have you, I work from home almost all of the time. So that provides a tremendous amount of flexibility, but it also allows me to, just come out here and, post something quickly on a Saturday morning or a Sunday morning, even if it's a weekend, right? Because my office is here at the house. So I do like that one, something to keep top of mind. But I think we're doing a pretty good job there. Personal growth, this is always on my list. I think for me, the thing when it comes to personal growth is that it's not a lack of information. It's not that I don't know that I should do this or I should do that. I think that it comes down to execution, but then also like permission. Granting yourself permission to do the thing, whatever it might be. Spending time on something that you want to do and not feeling selfish about it, committing to whatever that big, maybe audacious goal is that you have, choosing your discomfort. I think that is something that I've been thinking a lot about the last couple of days, is that you're going to be uncomfortable no matter what. There's no way that you can go through life or even just a year without experiencing some discomfort. But to the extent that you can choose your discomfort to avoid, other discomfort. So for example, is it uncomfortable to work out and stay in shape? Absolutely. Is it uncomfortable to make better eating choices? Probably, because it won't be as easy. But is that discomfort, would you rather have that discomfort or the discomfort of, health issues? So thinking about things like that is that, almost like choose your hard. I like the idea of that. I really like the idea of that when it comes to health and fitness, trying to figure out ways where you can get a little bit more uncomfortable. And I'm not saying it's enjoyable necessarily, but like, for example, playing basketball. Playing basketball would be a lot more fun than, let's just say, running on a treadmill or getting on an elliptical. So from an effort standpoint, or, from a discomfort standpoint, would it be easy to, get exhausted from, playing basketball? Well, that would be uncomfortable, but would I rather do that and reap the benefits of the physical activity versus, let's say, not doing that and then, be out of shape and winded? So I like the idea of choosing your discomfort. In terms of DIY project, I have so many DIY projects, never a shortage there. Just a matter of prioritizing them and trying to complete them. When I finish this podcast, I want to go try to finish the last panel in the barn. That would be, the roof would be completed on that. Not that project is done, but it's done. This first phase of it is done, which is great. And then I can move on to something else. Foster emotional well-being. Hadn't thought about this, but let's see what it says. It says, practice gratitude by noting 3 things you're thankful for daily. Prioritize mental health by finding time to decompress. Communicate openly with your spouse and kids about challenges and successes. I do think that gratitude is something that we could all use a little bit more of. I don't have a really great practice of any type of like gratitude journaling. I know a lot of people talk about it. I've always found it a little bit insincere, to say that I'm thankful for my health every single day. Now that could just be the cynic in me, but I think that, for example, with health, right? It is easy to take your health for granted until you are sick. And then once you are sick, you're like, oh my God, I wish I was healthy. So just with that mindset, trying to appreciate what you have and not compare what you have versus somebody else, or compare what you're lacking with other people. I think that is definitely something that I'm interested in. I would like to, and maybe this is part of the emotional well-being. I think doing this, like podcasting or creating, whether it's writing or something, this process helps me synthesize my thoughts. So going through something like this and just talking through it, granted it's to an audience indirectly, I guess, helps me better understand what I'm thinking. So I think through this process, especially if I can get into a groove from doing it consistently, I think that I'll feel a lot more at peace with the different thoughts that I have, especially on these topics, right? Like, so for Pursuit of Utility, what I'm basically going to talk about is all of the things that I do, right? And I think that not being limited or bounded into one specific area, but being able to talk about things like New Year's resolution or parenting or fitness or how to build a barn, whatever the thing is. I think that being able to talk about that, have a platform to share it, it's almost like journaling in public, which seems a little bit uncomfortable, but I guess that's what we're doing. So fostering emotional well-being, definitely something to consider. Be present, put away devices during family time to engage fully with your spouse and kids, attend your kids' school or extracurricular events to cheer them on, listen actively during conversations with your family to strengthen your connection. I remember several years ago, I was in a meeting, or I had met several times with this consultant that was doing some work for us. And they said, one thing that I noticed about you is that you pay attention in our meetings. And I was like, okay. He said, you never have your phone on the table, right? Your phone is always put away, which I never thought about. It was not something I was doing intentionally, but if you go into a meeting room, everybody's sitting around the table, and then a lot of times their phones are on the table as well. So this subconsciously, I think, says, hey, this is important, but this device is also important. And this, what happens on this device might actually trump my attention from whatever we're talking about here. I think the same goes with dinner. A lot of times at dinner, we'll tell the kids to put their phones away and we'll just talk to them about whatever is going on. So if we have a family dinner, it's typically no phones. Another time would be like in the car, if we're driving to practice, we're driving home from practice, just to try to talk to them about whatever is going on. Not being real preachy, not being real, not trying to be an investigator, but just trying to understand what's going on, right? Is there something that they're seeing on YouTube Shorts or TikTok? Did something happen in school? What's going on with their friends? What did they do last night? Who were they playing with? What games, right? How was practice? What did coach say? Just being interested in what's going on in their life. I know a lot of times with Nat, she likes to, tell me about what's going on at work. So maybe I'm just sitting there and I'm just listening to her talk about, her staff or leadership team or this or that. And it's not that she's necessarily talking to me because she needs my help, but she just wants to tell me what's going on. So trying to understand when those opportunities are and to take advantage of them, I think is a big deal. I think for me, the biggest thing would be me being probably a little bit more open about sharing the things that I'm working on, especially struggling with, to the kids. It's very easy for me to see what they're struggling with, but they don't necessarily see me struggle. So if I'm having a hard time recording a podcast consistently, if I screw something up, right? Like yesterday I tried to record and for whatever reason, my recording was not working. So don't know what happened, but I screwed it up. So, hey, look, Dad makes mistakes too. I know that was a big thing a couple years back. It was like, well, it looks like, you never screw anything up. Well, I definitely screw stuff up. I just wasn't sharing it. So trying to share that, to normalize the fact that even grown-ups mess up. It's not just you, right? We can give ourselves grace. We can give each other grace. I think that is really important. And it's definitely something that I think that we should all try to keep top of mind. And I mean, dude, it's tough being a kid these days. The level of, the amount of money that is spent to try to drive them basically to be addicted to everything that they come in contact with, whether it is a video game or a phone or a show. That is tough, man. I didn't have to deal with that. I tell them all the time, it's harder to be a kid now than it was when I was a kid. So I don't envy the situation that they're in, but I do try to be present as much as possible. And in terms of activities, I am not trying to miss anything. So I am trying to optimize my life, my career around being able to be present. I want to be at the games. I want to be able to take you to practice. I want to know what's going on. I don't want to miss those things. I can't imagine replacing the feeling of watching the kids play sports with anything else. So any opportunity I have within reason, I'm going to try to make that happen. And I really, really would encourage anyone else who might be missing out on some of that stuff. Try to make it a priority if you can. I mean, it's easy and cliche to say, but what is more important than that? I can hardly think of anything. So looking forward to the second half of high school basketball season with Carter. He'll be starting a new AAU team as well, so that'll be cool. Aiden doesn't play sports anymore, but following along with what he's doing in terms of tattooing is really cool. Him kind of sharing the different artwork and the different the different tattoos that he's doing. It's cool to kind of follow along, kind of be a fly on the wall. Go to the shop. He actually gave me a tattoo not too long ago, which is really cool. So, just trying to stay up to date with what's going on with him. Beckett, the youngest, he will also be doing more basketball, more AAU. He actually has a free throw competition this weekend. So, fingers crossed, hopefully he does well. But yeah, just being there for your kids. Because what else are you doing as a parent that's more important than that. So those were 7 different bullet points that ChatGPT gave me for what a New Year's resolution might look like for a 40-year-old married man with 3 kids. So what I really just wanted to demonstrate here was how you could use a tool like this, to do something practical, like help you with a New Year's resolution. It's also can be very iterative, right? So you can tell it something and then see what it responds to, and then ask it to break that down, right? If I wanted it to, let's just say, give me a few ideas of how I could optimize 2025 for personal growth, right? So I just asked it to give me a few ideas on how I could optimize 2025 for personal growth. And it says, set clear, purpose-driven goals, level up your skills, build a consistent morning routine, prioritize health and what did I say? Prioritize health and energy, deepen relationships, explore passion projects, financial growth, embrace discomfort, reflect and realign, give back. All those answers came faster than I could read them, right? So how might you use this to kind of help facilitate? It's almost like someone to throw some ideas off of, right? You can brainstorm. You can brainstorm in a judgment-free environment. So I'd strongly recommend you checking this out. ChatGPT.com or Claude AI is also really good. And just, if you have a New Year's resolution, put your New Year's resolution in there and tell it, what do you think about my New Year's resolution? If you don't have one, use it to help you brainstorm, right? See what other people are doing. See what people within your demographic are doing. What are other 40-year-old men that are married with 3 kids? What are they worried about? What are they focused on? What are they trying to prioritize next year? Just use it as a tool. All right. Use it as a tool to help you brainstorm, help you become more efficient, right? So you're not left to your own, thought process to try to figure some of this stuff out. You can iterate through it. So hopefully you found this kind of exploration of how we could use AI to help us create New Year's resolutions. Hopefully you found that helpful, and hopefully you check it out. I'll leave a link in the description below if you want to jump over there to ChatGPT and check it out. Let me know what you come up with, right? If you have any really cool prompts, share them. That would be awesome to hear. You can always reach me at nate@pursuitofutility.com. Again, that's nate@pursuitofutility.com. And until next time, see ya.